How are you today? Good. Who was there in September when I came in September? Yep, see some familiar faces. People. Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming a second time. And for those of you who are not here in September, it's nice to see you for the first time. And I'm sure we'll get to chat after this presentation. So yeah. I'm going to share just different things that we're working on, what we're seeing in the world of professional skincare, aesthetics, and I hope you're going to find some of these things interesting. That you're going to come out of this saying, "Oh, I've got some things that I can take with me back to my business, back to my treatment room, and some things that I want to implement." You'll see. My style is very casual, so if you have a question, I know it's a big group, but if you have a question, just raise your hand and just ask the question. If there is something that you want to say, something that you feel about the content that I'm presenting, just say it. There's no bad comments. It's a safe space. There's lots of people that still say it. So yeah, just know that that's the spirit for the next 45 minutes. So hang on a second. I'm gonna have to deal with this. Oh, sorry, there's a flag here. That's fine, I can do that. Okay. Okay. Cool. So we're going to start with some trends in the US. So some of you that were here in September, you've seen some of these. I've added more things that new things that we're not quite there yet, but now have become something significant in the industry. So this is the US. So we're based in California, in Los Angeles, a very dynamic place in the world. You have obviously the entertainment industry, all the influencers, medical aesthetics is huge because of all of that. So we see a lot of things that are happening first there. And also the US market is quite a deregulated market, when it comes to what people can do. So sometimes some things that take a little longer to come to Europe, they can flourish in the US first. Not saying this is a good thing all the time, but this is how it works. So this first thing this first treatment that you see here is called Moxie and BBL. Do you guys know Moxie BBL? It's here in the UK. Yes, some of you know. So Moxie BBL is a combination of a non-ablative laser and an IPL into the one session. So you start with, I've had it done in June last year actually. I like to be a guinea pig. But what's interesting with this is that a couple of years ago, to combine a non-ablative laser and IPL into one session would have been very, very much frowned upon. People would have gone, "You're crazy! You can't touch the skin after a non-ablative laser." But this company called Cyton, who created this device, they did the clinical studies, they did the trials, the clinical studies, the white papers, all the research that validated that you were able to get those results faster. And people want the results faster. They want more in a smaller amount of time. Now, this one that you have here is it's called TriLift by Luminous. So it's three things. You don't have it here in the UK yet, I think. So it's EMS, so electric muscle stimulation, radio frequency, and microneedling into one session. There's a lot going on here, yeah. And but again, a few years ago, people would have gone, "You cannot do that," and I see some of you like going, "What?" But yeah. So and again, this company, who is very much a serious company, has done the trial, the research, and now people are booking these. There's even some of our lovely Real Housewives of New Jersey, whatever, that are ambassadors for that. So, and they show their results. The next thing that I have here is Sculptra. Do you guys know Sculptra? Yeah. So Sculptra, so a year and a half ago, it was quite interesting to see the transition to Sculptra in Los Angeles. Everybody was like, "I am not injecting hyaluronic acid fillers anymore. I only inject Sculptra." So what is Sculptra? So when we sort of unpack what Sculptra is, it's a molecule called poly-L-lactic acid, which is actually a very hard sort of plasticky kind of thing. You inject it with a cannula into the skin. You do the droplet method, so you inject it, pop, 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 and deposit it through. But you do it all over the face. What is nice with it, and you can see on these pictures, is that it restores facial volumes, but it does not change the feature of the client or the patient. Whereas with hyaluronic acid, you just fill different parts like this, so you can change the features of somebody. Whereas here, because of the way that it works, I'm going to explain how it works, you just have a more natural, fuller look. But what is it? So what it triggers is a sort of continuous inflammation for a year or year and a half. It's a form of chronic inflammation that is going to trigger production of collagen. So right now everybody's raving about Sculptra, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. And I know, from doctors who are already moving to the next thing, that because the questions around, what is good about chronic inflammation? But this is what everybody's doing at the moment in Los Angeles. So interesting to see, there are good things and there are things that, you can question how good they are in the long term, but it is a dynamic landscape at the moment. Then, have you heard of regenerative medicine? So, yeah. So some of you have heard of this. So just remember this regenerative medicine. This is very much the future of many things. So PRP is the pioneer of regenerative medicine. So we draw your blood, we put it in those little test tubes, we put them through a centrifuge, and then we extract the plasma. That then can be either microneedled into your scalp, your skin, or can be used as a topical to help with your skin's regeneration after a procedure like a laser or microneedling or other. Very popular in the US. I believe in Europe you're not allowed to inject it. I think there's something like this. You can only use it as a topical. But again, so this is something that was created a long time ago, and it's the pioneer of regenerative medicine, which means you use something from you and to make you healthier or give you more health or give you more results. Now, everybody's talking about exosomes. Have you heard about exosomes lately? Yeah, so it's some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying, just remember this, exosomes. It's not exposomes or exosomes, it's exosomes. This is and we're gonna give you a little crash course on exosome actually. Just remember this because this is the buzzword of at the moment. I'm sure you remember when stem cells started to become something. Everybody was talking about stem cells, and then stem cell therapy for obviously medical treatments, but then how it sort of came to the world of skincare, and they had all these stem cell serums. The problem with stem cells, they're too big. Their molecular size is too big, they don't penetrate the skin, so they don't work. Any stem cell serum that is on the market does not work, let's be honest. But exosomes are more interesting because they're smaller and they can penetrate. And we're gonna go through how they work in a second. PDRN, have you heard of this? Maybe not. Polynucleotide? Yeah? Okay. This is again, showing you some serious one, and no, maybe it's serious, but we'll see. It is DNA extracted from the sperm of salmons. Yes, it comes from Korea, and they inject it in the skin to rejuvenate the skin. It's very trendy at the moment in the US. In some of the big trade shows, they're talking about it a lot, about its potential. To be completely honest, I have not seen excellent results from it. So yes, question, comment? Yeah.
So I've had a client recently just had this done with her esthetician.
Oh yes.
And she said the pain of having that done under the eye, the nerves twitching at the same time was just immense, but the bruising was awful.
Yeah. So and the way that it's injected, it's a dermal injection. So it has to be like little drops like this. So it's actually a technique that a lot of injectors are not very good at because they usually inject deeper. So you need to have a very good injector to make sure you don't bruise, because you should not be bruising with such a. Normally it should be a shallow injection. So yeah, poor thing. So but yeah. So this is interesting, right? You're thinking, where is he going with all of this? So we're going to talk about exosomes and what they are, because this is interesting. So exosomes, so it is, so until like probably, I don't know exactly if it was like 7-8 years ago, we thought that exosome was what we call a cellular debris. We thought it was just like a cell that, just well, things that are useless. What has been discovered is that they actually are cellular messengers. So they can tell for, cell A is here, cell B is there, and then the exosomes are created by that cell here and goes to that cell B and tell, produce more collagen, de-inflame. So this is when it starts to become interesting, where we start to understand the, intracellular communication. And they are very small, so they penetrate, and because of their size and their role, then they can go places. So this is when it starts to become even more interesting. And now we can see the application on skincare. So at the moment they're studying the application for gut health, to restore the skin, the microbiome, and to have better gut health, but also for a number of other types of therapies. But then in skin we can see many applications. So the way that they work is that they're going to send a signal to boost, for instance, the cellular repair. So this is when it starts to become interesting for us and the field that we're in. They have they're not invasive. So very often is what we do is we try to, let's say with microneedling, we try to get those needles, bam, to hit the fibroblast to say, all right, wound healing has to start. And now you're going to produce more collagen this way through the shock and through the wound healing process. So it's a voluntary, violent action. But here what's interesting is that we can communicate to the fibroblast in a more gentle way. We don't have to, we can obviously hit it, we can do that and do both at the same time, but we have another method for it to say, produce more collagen. And that's so it's more gentle types of therapy. Then after we're interested also in the role for pigmentation, the roles that they have on melanocytes and on rosacea as well, which we hear is really much on the rise at the moment. So there's a number of modes of actions that are being explored with exosomes. So this is what they look like in size compared to a cell. So you see when you have a cell that is that big, then an exosome is tiny. So it's much, much smaller. So they're going to, when they use on the skin, they can penetrate the dermal layers, go to the recipient cells, and then these are some of the actions that they can have. So to an angiogenic ability to repair the capillaries, collagen synthesis, and obviously regulation of inflammation. The problem that we've had so far with exosomes, the human. And so the technology comes from Korea. A lot of things come from Korea. They're very advanced there. And I think they also have no regulations whatsoever. So when in Europe, we're like, okay, no, you can't do that. This is not safe. Over there, this is a wild, wild west. So which is good in a way because it gets them creative, I guess. But the challenge that we've had is that it's human. And at Dermalogica, we don't use human ingredients or human material because we are vegan. And what is human is considered animal. So we've been looking for the source of exosomes. And I'll show you what we found a little later in the presentation. So I'm not going to go through this because we saw it. But the other thing that I wanted to touch on that is fascinating at the moment is frequency therapy. So this is, just remember this moment, and you'll see in 5-6 years you'll go, oh my God, this guy is So the frequency therapy is on the rise when it comes to medical research. So there's now a greater understanding that you have frequencies that run through every cell in our body, and different cells are going to respond differently to different frequencies. Heart, your brain, skin, you're going to have different frequencies that are going to enable that cell to function in a healthier way. And I think, what good old microcurrent is going to have a big, revival, because, some things that we sort of understood so far, there's going to be a lot of research and funding that is going to go into that to understand it, and we're going to discover, and they're already being discovered, new frequencies that are going to help our skin cells work better. So just so you know, this is a space that we are watching very carefully as well. Now, I wanted to show you this. It's more business, but this is an interesting. This is interesting. So I'm going to start here, actually. We call this the convergence. So there was probably until now, there was medical aesthetics, holistic aesthetics. It was two different worlds, either this or that. And what we started to see, and I know that you're seeing it here in the UK as well, because I'm connected with some people here. But I'll tell you how it happened in Los Angeles. So let's say you had a med spa, so you had a medical doctor that headed up that med spa, and then they brought IV. IV drips became something, but for them it was their version of wellness. Is it really wellness? I'm not sure, but for them that's wellness, the IV drips. And then after, when they started to offer the IV drips, they moved to acupuncture. And so they started from one needle to the next. But now you have some clinics that offer, obviously your typical, injectables, lasers, IV drips, facial acupuncture, body acupuncture, and then you have everything that happens after this in terms of wellness. So you have a lot more clinics that are now medical aesthetics and wellness. And it is quite interesting to see that, because I think there is, these are some of the things that I think at Dermalogica we treat skin in a holistic way. It's not just fixing this or that, but we really treat skin in a holistic way. And I think we're very excited about this transformation in the industry, and I think you're going to see that. And even I was in Monte Carlo for a trade show recently, and there's Dr. Wong. He has a clinic on Holly Street, and he was telling me about it, and we filmed him actually saying this. That there's a lot more focus on skin quality, even for the doctors. He said, and he admits that that's been overlooked in the past. We just inject and then see ya. But now they really are thinking about skin health. So this is very interesting, and I think there's a lot of opportunities there. Now, combination therapies are definitely on the rise. People want to mix and match. You've seen this before. So there's things that we're exploring as well on how we can do that. But I wanted to show you this. It's small here, but this is a platform in the US where, so let's say if I'm in California, I'm a skin therapist, esthetician, and I am not allowed to do microneedling, within my scope of practice. I have to be under the supervision of a medical doctor for me to be able to do that. There is this platform called Moxie as well, moxie.com, and what they do is that they link esthetician, nurses, aesthetic nurses, and doctors, so they can sort of combine forces. So if I'm an esthetician, I'm going to speak with those words for the minute, I can be connected to a medical doctor who is going to and create a contract, a medical director contract, where I'm going to be able to, he's going to get me on how to perform microneedling in a compliant way under California law, so I can have a wider scope of practice, but I'm under his supervision. So if there's something that was going wrong, then obviously I will be covered by his insurance. And he's going to take 15%, that will be the cut of the medical treatment, the medical aesthetic treatment that I would offer. And I think this is very interesting because we are seeing, until now, what we saw in the UK is the same. You have, let's say, some med spas, and it's like they have their little kingdoms, like the med spa in this town, or sometimes, very affluent people, okay, there's two, and this is, we fight against each other. And then, but I think what we see now is a lot more fluidity in the industry. A lot more small entrepreneurs are coming and are leveraging these types of platforms so that they can broaden the scope of practice, combine forces, attract new customers, and therefore be more advanced as well, because that's what clients want. So just watch for things like this in the UK, because the UK and the US, I don't think are far off each other. I always say, there's two, like in the Western world, there's two parts. You have US, UK, Canada, Australia, they are advanced, and then you have and Germany, sorry, is there too, and then you have France, Italy, Spain, very conservative. So so yeah, just watch these, because they are great opportunities for you to expand your business. So yeah, let's keep going. Any question on this so far, actually? Yes?
What did you say the name of that platform is in the US?
Moxie, M-O-X-I-E. So it's in the US, but have a look if there's something that would have popped in the UK. I would not be surprised if you already have something like this in the UK. Because why I think you would have this, because there's I go in different countries, I know the regulations. So because here you have doctors, nurse practitioners, estheticians. In countries like in France and Italy, they don't have nurse practitioners. They don't exist. It's a status that doesn't exist. So it blocks the certain fluidity on how professional skincare can evolve and flourish. But here you can. So and I know also that for instance, if I'm a nurse practitioner, I can inject in pretty much anywhere I want. Whereas there's some countries where you can only inject in here, or you can only perform skin treatments there. So you do have a lot of fluidity with your. I know it doesn't sound like this sometimes, because sometimes you're just saying, oh my God, there's so many rules. But you do have a lot of fluidity in the UK with your regulations. And how we treat skin. So when we look at all of this, this is where, when it comes to Dermalogica Pro, we think about correction and boosting skin health. And we have to cater for all of that spectrum. We cannot boost skin health. If you have somebody with melasma, bad melasma, you have to correct it before you can boost skin health. If you have somebody with bad acne, correct it, and then you can boost skin health. You can't just tell that person, oh, we're going to work on skin health. They really want something else right now. So we are putting in place all the tools and the products and the protocols that you're going to need to be able to do this and that as well. And that's very important for where the industry is going and what's coming. And that's why we created Pro Restore. Who is using Pro Restore in your treatment? Hi, Melissa. Sorry. Everybody's using Pro Restore. Sorry, who's using Pro Restore? Keep using it. It's an excellent product. So when we developed Pro Restore, obviously it's for anybody who performs advanced services like microneedling, more advanced chemical peels, or going into the lasers and all that. We know that you can offer so many results, but the challenge is always the downtime. If the client is not compliant with your guidelines in the downtime period, it can have complications, it can backfire, and it can compromise the results. By using Pro Restore during the treatment, in the treatment room and at home, you are getting that client through the downtime faster. You're getting them out of the danger zone faster, and they're starting to see the results faster. So it is an excellent product, and I hope that you keep using it. And we're going to talk about some other things with Pro Restore. But how does it work? We have a very unique technology where we use our omega-3 DHA and EPA. So when you look at omega-3s, there's a third one called ALA, does nothing, so don't worry about that one. But these two are very important. They help to resolve inflammation. I take omega-3 DHA and EPA every day, even internally. I don't drink for restore. I have to, fortunately, we don't offer that. But this is, we're all subject to inflammation on a daily basis. So inflammation is not bad. It's how we help inflammation to be resolved that is important for overall health and skin health. What it does is that when you do microneedling, let's say, you have a spike in inflammation, it's voluntary inflammation that is being triggered here. What we try to do is to resolve the inflammation, to bring the skin back to equilibrium. What we do not want is chronic inflammation. We all understand that it's toxic to be in a chronic inflammatory state. So we don't want skin to be like this. We want to help and resolve inflammation. What we don't want to do neither is to block inflammation using ibuprofen, Tylenol. We don't want that. We want to resolve the inflammation, and that's why they're so important. They are the only ingredients that have been proven to do this so well. And we use some for microalgae. Normally they come from fish, but because we're vegan, we're using a botanical source of omega-3s.
Louis, would it in any capacity be good to use this on a regular basis? So to use Prostore as my daytime serum?
Yeah.
Nighttime serum?
Yes.
It's quite expensive though.
So,
Can you do something about that?
So, it would be very expensive with the concentrates, with the little tube, but we are going to talk about something very quickly which could cover that.
The big grey bottle we saw in the back.
Yes, this one's there, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, on a daily basis to use omega-3s is just fantastic.
So if we could afford it, it would be a good idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. But you'll see, we'll talk about omega-3s in a second with some exciting news. So, of course, we've done a lot of research. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to explain how this works, actually. So we worked with Dr. Wong. He's a dermatologist who is based in Canada. We've become good friends. I think we've worked on a lot of projects together now. But we have published research. So just so you understand how this works and how serious this is. So there's different ways in which you do your clinical study. So when we come up with a product or a technology, we feel that there's something in it that is special. All right. And we see that it's working. What we do here is that you do your clinical study where you have 32 subjects. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually it's what you need to have statistical validity. And you put them through a protocol in an external facility because it has to be. You can't interfere with it, otherwise, we don't want to skew the results. It has to be certain ethics have to be protected. So the subjects go through the same protocol, and then after you measure, through photos, expert assessment, different tools to measure the skin, you get a lot of data from this, and then the data comes and it tells you, okay, well, this is what we saw from using those Prostores, those omega-3 DHA and EPA in the context of microinjury treatments like microneedling. So then you get this, and then you work with a number of doctors, scientists who review your research. So obviously Dr. Wong was the author of it, so he's the main guy. And then you work with professors, university professors, or sometimes other people who usually have a PhD of some sort. But some people that obviously understand what research is like, they comment on your research, and then they tell you, well, I agree with what you've got there, but I think that you should look at this even more, or I disagree with this, so I think you should take that out of your summary. And this is when once you've done this, we call it the peer review process. Then you can approach a scientific publication like this one here, Dermatology and Therapy, and you go to them and you say, well, I have an article or a piece of research that we want to publish. So they review obviously that you've done everything right, and then they say, okay, great, you've done everything as per the guidelines, and you can publish it. Why does it matter? Because it's no more marketing or trying to push sales. It becomes a real scientific research. You never mention the product, the name of the product in this actually. You're not allowed because the purpose is science. But then after, what happens is that the other scientists will use your research and springboard from that and just say, oh, those guys have done this, I'm curious to do this. So why I'm talking about this? Because it matters, because we're doing a lot of this at the moment, which shows the advancements from a scientific perspective that we're making. And that, beyond us coming up with great products and trying to sell them, it's trying to really think about how we can contribute to the advancement, the scientific advancements. And that's what we did with Pro Restore. We did this with Melano Pro as well.
Can I ask one other question?
Of course.
Growth factors. So it's got a growth factor in it. It's obviously plant-based, not animal. Are growth factors going anywhere or not?
Yeah.
Do they need to be animal or plant okay? Or?
Yeah, growth factors will stay. Yeah, they're definitely staying. They work. They're here to stay. Then obviously there's some. You have some companies that use human growth factors, other animals. We use the plant-based ones. The plant-based, the human ones will work better. Yeah, that's full growth factors. Well, I'll show you the work that we're doing on exosomes, and which is going to be different. But and I think there's more potential there actually. But yeah, growth factors are staying. Yeah. Now you've seen obviously after microneedling, and I think most of you have used this, so you know how well it works. This is after fibroblast skin tightening. Obviously, you have, this is day 5 after the treatment. On the left, conventional dry healing. On the right, you can see Pro Restore wet healing method, and you can see how faster the recovery is. We tested Pro Restore with CO2 lasers, which is where we completely ablate the epidermis. This is the most advanced type of laser procedures that are performed. I like to study what a product can do in those extreme contexts because it really shows its muscles. So you can see here we've got a subject that has gone without Pro Restore and a subject with Pro Restore in the healing phase. And on day 4, you see this is what they look like. So you can see without Pro Restore how much more inflamed this patient or this subject is, whereas this one is already healing. And at day 7, she's fully healed, whereas at day 10 she is fully healed, but she still has residual redness. So it is very interesting to see the efficacy of something like Pro Restore in those more extreme contexts, so we can fully understand its overall benefits. Now Melano Pro. So who is using Melano Pro? Yay. Okay, those who haven't, please start. We're gonna change things very quickly. So we're having some great results with Melano Pro. So I'm sure that some of you have seen some of those results. Obviously, we are working on hyperpigmentation here, but you're seeing also a boost in overall skin health. You see the redness is coming down. You have to be careful with anybody with an an inflammatory condition. It's contraindicated for rosacea or reactive skin, but you are seeing a real boost in overall skin quality, which is very nice. So this is Melano Pro. We've been so happy with it. It has been a very long journey with Melano Pro, so I'll tell you this in a second. But this is obviously a Fitzpatrick 5. She's local. She's based in London, this subject actually. And she has a melasma. You can see how we brought that melasma down. We've got a clinical study that we run. We're working on the white paper. It's going to be published this summer. So we're working again with Dr. Wong and other scientists on this one. But the little bonuses of Melano Pro is that it decreases wrinkles and the texture is improved tremendously. So so if you have, and that's what a lot of people say, is that they go like, oh my God, my skin has never looked so healthy. It is even hard to get some people to come off Melano Pro. So the joke, the joke in the office, and I'm sure some of you have started to experience this, is like, I need more of the cream. No, you have to stop. I need more of the cream, please. And you just go, no. So I had the impression for a minute I was the drug dealer in the office. So I never said yes, or never accepted rights. But it is, it's good to stop. We say you have to stop for 3-4 months in between melanopros, and then you can start again. If you have clients with melasma, this is your best friend. You start them on melasma in the autumn, and then they can do 2 melanopro. Let's say in the autumn-winter period, you can, and then after in the summer, you put your arm in the sun. It's going to trigger the melasma on your face. There's nothing you can do, so you just live your life. It's fine. But when autumn comes, let's work on that melasma. Let's just bring it down, control it, so it's not impacting your life too much. But then after, sun damages, especially with those sun worshippers in the summer, come back with sun damages in the autumn. So it's very good to use it there. When you have people with stubborn pigmentation, sunspots, age spots that are not going to move, you have to tackle them from different perspectives. So you have chemical, that's going to be your melanopro, mechanical, microneedling, and then if you have lasers, energy, IPL lasers are going to be great. So if you can have access to that third option is great. If you just do, a lot of clinics, for instance, they have like all those lasers, and they just do lasers. At the moment where the skin can't take any more lasers, it backfires. So you have to almost alternate to get better results. And sometimes some skins respond better to chemical, mechanical, so you have to just see what the skin is responding better to be able to get a significant improvement. But by having melanopro and microneedling, just that, it's an incredible solution to stubborn pigmentation for anyone. Any question on this actually? Nope. Okay, so we are working on the white paper with combination therapy. So we are in the process of testing. So Pico laser as those they're non-ablasive lasers, but they target hyperpigmentation. We finished the protocol. So if you use a Pico laser, use Pico laser and you start melanopro the same day. Boom, and that works very well. If you do IPL, wait 2 weeks, start melanopro. RF microneedling, depending if you're using a Morpheus 8, you have to wait a month because the recovery with Morpheus 8 is pretty, it just takes time. So you wait a month and then you can start melanopro. If you do microneedling, 2 weeks, and then you can start melanopro. So, but then think about it. If you've been dealing with the melasma with terrible PIH from acne scars or sunspots that is not moving, and you do that combination therapy, microneedling, and then you start 2 weeks after melanopro, in 2 months, you're going to get somebody who's going to see a significant improvement in their skin. They will be thankful for the rest of their lives, because I guarantee that nobody would have been able to offer these types of results. Then after body protocols, so we just started these actually. We already started them. That's Trust Us, it's already started. Hands, so we're working on these. Neck, décolleté, armpits as well. People of Indian descent, for instance, they have this a lot. You have to be careful here. That's what we're trying to really balance out the strength of the treatment, because when you look at underarm hyperpigmentation, it is a PIH. And so you really have to also look at how they are doing the hair removal, how they are washing themselves, the deodorant they're using. You have to be careful with this. With the hands, it's quite interesting. We started the trials, and we had somebody who used the cream in the night, and then she obviously in the eyes. So and then she woke up with her eyes being very swollen. So there are certain precautions that we are just looking at, so that when we give you the protocol, you can say, okay, this is how we're going to go about this, so you stay safe. But there's certain we have to be careful with the hands because it very quickly goes in the eyes. So now I'm going to show you what's coming. So this is what's happened. Now what's coming. Okay, so we have the new cooling bicellular sheet mask. That's exciting. So we're going to do a demo today. I think we're starting to microneedle right now. Is that what we're doing? Who's getting microneedled? No, okay, great. Okay, so that's so the way that it was designed is, so when you look at sheet mask, there's you have a lot of sheet masks that are great to use at home, you know, for the evening, that are nice, they're cute, it's fun. But this one is very much designed for advanced services in the treatment room. What happens in the treatment room is that normally this can happen if you're doing advanced services. And this is what the skin is going to look like after one of those advanced services. A major cause of discomfort is heat. You know, it's the and so those of you who have experienced it, you know, and it's that heat that just keeps on going. So, the purpose of this mask is to bring that heat down. So you can bring the skin can be more balanced as the client is going home. The material we're using in this sheet mask is bicellulose, which is extracted from coconut. Actually, it's from coconut water that is fermented, so it's very natural. And then after, you have this ingredient called isopulagol, which is a cooling ingredient. And I'll explain how it works, but that's the cooling ingredient. And then we have a solution with hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, gotu kola, and passion fruit seed oil. And then you have 20 ml of solution in the one sachet. So normally in a serum, you know, like a regular serum, you have 30 ml in this. So, and you'll be surprised, but when you apply the mask after an advanced service, the skin is going to drink everything. So it's quite. So if you were to use in a matter of minutes. So when we show you later, you'll see you probably after an advanced service like microneedling, you're probably going to leave it for 3 minutes on the skin. If you're just using it at home at night, just on normal skin, you can leave it on for 10-15 minutes, and you might still have residue. After 3 minutes, there's no residue left, because the transepidermal water loss is so intense that it just drinks everything. But it tells you actually, you know, how much hydration we are losing, and therefore, in that context of post-treatment, you know, it's so important just to really hydrate the skin as much as possible. But we don't want you don't want products that are going to be so occlusive that they're going to trap the heat, and then that becomes worse. So this is where this product is interesting. So isopulagol, what is it? It's an aromatic compound present in cannabis. So no, don't smoke the mask, please. I might try it tonight. I'll tell you how it felt. You know, it's California, right? So what's interesting is that it has a low molecular size. So I don't know if you know this rule, the rule of 500 gram per mole. So every compound has a molecular weight that is measured in Dalton or in gram per mole. They're pretty much the same. Anything above 500 is not going to penetrate the dermal layers. Anything under is going to penetrate. And the glycolic acid, for instance, is like 80, I think, gram per mole. That's why, as a AHA, it's so aggressive, because it's small and it goes deep very fast. But anyway, so this one is 154. So it's good, because we want that compound to go down into the skin, and we want that to go to the nerve endings, which are, you know, at the bottom of the epidermis, and to say, it's cold, it's okay. So we're not bringing the temperature down physically. That's not possible. I mean, we could only do it with, you know, an air conditioning machine. But we're telling the brain, we're fooling the brain to say, oh, it's cold, it's okay. and therefore we are triggering more comfort. The only thing I'm gonna say, actually I'll go through. Now when it comes to the biocellulose, so it's plant-based biocellulose, which has cooling properties. Biocellulose is something that is used by hospitals for wound or burn dressing already, and for decades it's been used in that context. A lot of the sheet masks that you find, in retail, they are made out of viscose. And I can tell you, we tried with viscose when we developed the product. It traps the heat. It's awful. So when you use them at home, maybe for a spa night with friends, maybe that's okay. But in that context, it doesn't work at all. Then you want this to be thicker, but not too thick, because you want it to adhere very well to the skin. So it has to cocoon the skin really well. And there's some biocellulose masks that unfortunately are so thick they don't actually stick to the skin. And each sachet has 20 ml of solution, as I said. So and with this mask, and you'll see when it's applied later. During the application, you're going to when you start to play with sensory, everybody is different. Everybody is different. So when you use it after microneedling, and then you have, if you use a numbing cream before, you're playing with sensory again. So you're going to see that you're going to have people who respond very differently to the application of the mask. Some people are going to say, "Oh, it's great," and some people are saying, "I don't know if it's great." But what is very nice is when it's removed. So don't expect it to be like it's an advanced product. And it's going to provide comfort after the removal. It's going to keep the skin feeling cool after the removal. But during the application, you'll ask your client, "How does it feel?" And they're going to say, "I don't know." Or some of them will say, "Oh, it's really nice." But it's after the removal that you're going to have that comfort. So imagine you have the client who, spent, how much do we charge for microneedling here? 300 pounds or something like this?
Under 200.
Under 200?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, gosh, they rip us off in LA. But you spent a bit of money, right? I know we get all of these beautiful things for free, but when you're clients, this is a lot of money. So you spend money on microneedling or lasers or something else, and then it doesn't feel great, right? So you leave the treatment room and you're just like, "Oh my God, I've just been tortured for 30 minutes, and I know I'm going to look good, but I'm feeling a little silly in the car right now." So, and that's what this mask is good for. When the client leaves the treatment room, they're going to feel good. Their skin is going to feel better. And I always say, just you can do the exercise of the fan. Just fan their skin after, and it reactivates the cooling after. You can even send them home with a mask as well to reapply later in the day. We have this protocol that we have to. Speaking with Angela yesterday, we probably have to see how it's going to work because of certain regulations here. But this is a beautiful protocol where very simple. So after all of these advanced treatment, microneedling, RF microneedling, non-ablative laser, fractional laser, IPL, and advanced chemical peels, you apply the cooling sheet mask first. You wait 3 minutes, it's going to drink all the solution, you remove, then you apply the light mask that you can leave it on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but we made it so it can fit in 15 minutes, so it can be an easy add-on. And then you wipe with wet aesthetic wipes, and then you apply Pro Restore after. So usually what happens, you apply these, people say, "I don't know how it feels," or sometimes some people say, "Oh, it feels amazing." Then we had people falling asleep here when they use the light energy mask, because it sort of cocoons and it's just really soothing. So we had somebody who had a fractional laser. Her skin was very red and she was in pain during the treatment. And then after, she was snoring when we did that. So it was very nice to see. I was like, "Oh my God, she's snoring!" So yeah. Question.
Can you do the LED over the light energy?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I know there's a debate around the use of LED after certain micro-injury treatments. I think in the UK you are more advanced than in a lot of other countries on that front. And you have a Dr. Tracy in Dublin. I know, like he's done a lot of LED post procedure. It works very well. Yeah. If I was saying this in the UK, I would have to really justify my. In the US, I would have to really justify myself because with LED, they're not quite there yet. So let me tell you. Okay, Pro Restore. So. Yeah, so obviously we launched Pro Restore, the concentrate that you're using in the treatment room, and now we started to launch this line. We developed this line last year. It's only available in select states in the US at the moment, and it's going to roll out. Probably we're still looking at the date, but in autumn in the rest of the world. Sometimes we do this just to test things and how they go in market. So this is using the same technology with the omega-3s, but it's across the line. I'm going to show you how this works. Something that I know. So every country is going to be a little bit different depending on scope of practices and everything. But this is designed for advanced treatment. So my understanding is that it's going to be if you're performing microneedling and more, you're going to be able to access this line. So just look. I think it's going to be a level 4 or something like this. So anyway, the UK team will confirm this with you. But this is designed for anybody who is offering those treatments. This line will never be available online, just Pro exclusive, only prescribed by a professional who performs advanced services and up. So it has. So obviously, you've got the Pro Restore concentrate, but here when we started the journey here, then we really looked at the inflammation at the wound healing cycle. You get inflammation, which happens between day 0 and 4, so that's during the microneedling treatment, for instance. Then you have the proliferation stage that happens between day 5 and 21, where you have the new skin that's forming. So you want to protect it. You want to protect that new skin with more occlusives. And then you have remodeling. Depending on what you performed, the remodeling phase can last between day 22 to up to 1 year. If you've done something very invasive. If you've done microneedling, it's probably going to be between day 22 to day 45. And that's where the collagen is produced. This is the beautiful phase. So what we designed here, we've got a cleanser that is going to be very gentle. The cleanser, because it's that new skin, or that injured skin, it has a form of hyaluronic acid called cationic hyaluronic acid, which is, it means it's positively charged, and it's going to bind to the negatively charged skin cells. So when you cleanse your skin, you're going to be left with a hydrating film, which is very nice when your skin feels a little rough. Then you have the serum and the moisturizer and the eye cream. So the moisturizer and the eye cream are very occlusive and very rich, and they're going to be great for that proliferation phase to protect the skin. And then the serum, which goes a little deeper, is going to have all your collagen boosters, great for the remodeling phase. You're going to use it as one system, but it's going to cover all the needs of the skin in this phase. The way that we would recommend to prescribe the range is to tell the clients, use it 1 to 2 weeks before you start the procedure. Like this is going to prepare your skin for the inflammation that is just about to take place. You're going to see that if they do this, they're going to have a lot less of those negative side effects associated with the treatments that you'll be performing on the day. Less redness or possible swelling or anything like this. The skin will tolerate the treatment much better, which means that sometimes you can be a little bit more ambitious with what is being performed. Then after you use the concentrate in the treatment room, if you are opening channels with microneedling, then you need to use the concentrate as long as the channels are open. So the channels arguably with microneedling are going to be open between 12 to 24 hours after the treatment. So as long as channels are open, this is what you use. when channels are closed, or if you're using lasers that don't really open channels, you can move to this straight away. And then they come back to using the line. And then that's going to speed up the healing and boost the treatment results. We've seen incredible results so far with it, and I think we're very excited. So we've got the products there, so please play with them. You'll see they're beautiful textures. And who was asking the omega-3s? Yeah, and then you can use omega-3s every day because you have those omega-3s there. And usually the way that we would, it's not just procedure care, this line, it's also, people come and I'm sure you've seen this, they're going to say, okay, I'm going to do my first microneedling or my first chemical peel. And usually that's the moment where they take better habits for their skin. They say, okay, they're ready to invest in their skin, to change, the way they've done things before. So they're going to look at slightly more advanced skincare products, and that's what this line is for. It's for when you have those clients that come and they're ready for more advanced results in your hands. Then this is what they're going to be migrating to. Then exosomes. So this is something I wanted to show you that we're working on this. So so we are working on exosomes here, and this is very much. I'm sorry, I can't take photos. So here we can't take photos anymore. This is going to be very confidential. If you have taken photos already, please delete that. I will police. But we're working on exosomes. So far, we were a little stuck with exosomes because what we know is that exosomes are from human source. Now, in Europe, you can't use any human-derived ingredients. So a lot of companies have come up with plant exosomes from roses. Generally, they come. But the problem is that they don't work as well as human ones. And we tested it, and we saw this as well. So we're like, okay, let's look for something else. So we have found exosomes that come from bacteria. Lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is a bacteria that we have all over us and inside of us. They're cells, different kinds of cells, but they're very synergistic with human cells because they interact with our human cells all the time. And they're vegan friendly as well. They're from non-animal source. So we were very curious about this. And so I'll show you some of the tests that we've been conducting, and I think what you'll see will happen in the next few months as we finish those tests. So I'll show you this. So this is the first thing that we tested. Okay, actually I'll go back. So we tested. I'll go back here. Sorry. So the first thing the exosome, they come in a little powder, and you mix it with the diluent. And so we looked at the first diluent, which is a solution with hyaluronic acid, a couple of amino acids, and so on. So we tested this, and we saw some results which were quite encouraging, and we compared versus human exosomes. So we saw that we were able to get similar type of healing. So we tested. So we did microneedling always like above 1 millimeter. Tried to get a good pinpoint bleeding, a lot of erythema, always in that context to see how fast you would heal from this. We saw that when we tested the exosome with the normal diluent, I would say, versus the human exosome, we were getting the same healing. So lactobacillus or bacteria exosome versus human exosome, same healing. But then we thought, hang on a sec, we have a beautiful product called ProRestore. What if we were using the ProRestore as the diluent and put the exosome inside? So, and this is what we're seeing now. So the first thing, we compare everything, every option. So we test efficacy from every angle. I'll show you this so you can understand, that it's no fluff here. So, see, so we've got this subject. So she's been tested right after microneedling, just with ProRestore and ProRestore plus the probiotic exosome. So you can see we try to get a similar type of erythema, but it's probably maybe a little bit less on the right side. But let's look at how our skin is performing. So that's the night of the treatment. So far it's the same. same type of healing. You see the erythema is the same. So we've used Pro-Restore on one side of the face and Pro-Restore plus probiotic exosome on the other side during microneedling, after, and then applying in the evening. That's the morning after, and you can already start to see actually how the exosomes are helping her heal faster here. And here you can see she's more red. Can you see it? Yeah. And then, so it's literally days ago. It's really in the middle of testing this. So, and then you can see here, she's still healing with Pro-Restore, but here she's almost fully healed with the exosomes. Yes?
Is this from one first application, or is she putting it on every day?
Every day, morning and evening.
Right.
Yeah. And then we selected the moisturizers carefully to make sure that there wouldn't be any interference with with the results. And here, that's the evening. Again, you can see with Pro-Restore, she's still healing a little bit, and she's breaking out a little bit. I'm not trying to say that Pro-Restore is bad, but there is something superior that we can see here. And then after, you can see she's fully healed with Pro-Restore. She's still healing a little bit, still some residual redness there. And then that's me. That's a big guinea pig, right? So this was last Thursday in LA. That was in the middle of Friday morning, the Friday 2 a.m. for you here. Here we tested Pro-Restore with probiotic exosome on this side and human exosome. So we try, we compare Pro-Restore and human exosomes. If we can find something that that is as powerful as human exosomes or more powerful than human exosomes, then that's great. Because imagine what that means for you guys in Europe. In the US, of course it's different. They have the human exosome, but here you can't have the human exosomes. So I had some numbing, so she couldn't see how red I was getting. It played with my redness during the treatment. So, but we tried to get the same level of redness, and I was like, you go, you go hard. The numbing felt, I suffered, but anyway. So this is the night of the treatment, pretty much similar. If you were to compare, how I was and the progression. And then after, so sorry, it's a little blurry, these ones, the morning after the treatment, but it's pretty similar. And now you can see actually with the Pro-Restore plus the probiotic exosome, you can see it's starting to get better. Human exosome and still I'm more red. And then after I've got one more, and you can see here, with Pro-Restore and probiotic exosome, I'm almost fully healed, residual dryness, and here I'm still very much recovering. And this is my skin today. You can see I'm fully healed on both sides. But why I wanted to show you this is because this is very interesting. And obviously we're not the only two subjects that are going through this. We do what we call pilot testing. When we test on, we take a protocol, we test on 3-4 people. Then when we see that there's something in it, then we do panel testing where we take it to 10 people. And then after we do clinical studies, because we need to build statistical validity basically with everything we do. But if we are able to offer a solution to, a stronger version, a more powerful version of Pro-Restore powered by exosome, this would be very interesting. So, and you'll see this is the work that we do, the mad scientists. We try things in the treatment room with educators, different protocols, and then we analyze. So here it was just photos, but we also had like VCM machines where we fully analyze the skin to understand everything. Now, any question, comments on this?
You're going to have to stop testing on yourself because you're going to always have one side better than the other.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Like we always do split face methods. That's our only way to know if it works. But so I mean, I hope that at some point, I won't look strange. Okay, so I'll show you 2025 and 2026. This is confidential. We have Plum Peel coming next year in spring. This is going to be I think some of you have seen it. We're just finishing the formula at the moment. peel balm that you apply on skin. If you have the time, I even have some samples I can even show you later how it is. Then you apply an activator, it starts to fizz. So it's a really lovely sensory. It's very effective, and we're going to integrate this into the Lumen Fusion protocol. And then you're going to use plum peel, and then you're going to nano-infuse the plum peel into the skin to have that stacked exfoliation with the Pro-Band. But it's going to be like all bells and whistles, because you're going to have the balm, then it's fizz, it's like pop, 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 pop in the ears, and it's a real sensory journey. But it's going to plump up the skin. Now we're looking obviously at new frequencies for cellular health. So we're looking at this device. It's funny, I was dreaming about this device last night. But it's going to be sort of current, I would say not microcurrent, but current or frequency, to the next level. There'll be LED integrated into it, and we're going to have different frequencies that are going to be able to target different cells. There'll be EMS, electroporation, iontophoresis as well offered in this, so you will be able to do the full spectrum. And what we want is to integrate this. I know that some of you have said, but we love your Lumen Fusion protocol, but we want a red light or a light option that you guys offer. So this is what we're looking at. So you'll have red light and frequency combined into this. So when you think about what Lumen Fusion will look like in a year or in a year and a half, you have your stack resurfacing, you have your nano infusion, your red light, and current at the same time. You'll see it's going to become something pretty spectacular, not only from a result standpoint, but also an experience. So I think that's all for me, right?